paying a surprise visit to the Red Cajun fan in the hospital is the associate head coach of the Red Cajuns, Anthony Babineaux.
Thank you, Matt. Good afternoon. Well, as Matt said, we had a series victory this weekend. Prior to that, getting the week started with the Tuesday-Wednesday game at Nichols, and then the resumption of a game at Northwestern State. Tuesday game at Nichols was a tough loss for us, and kind of a tough way to get the week started. Had a 3-run lead into the 8th inning, and then it kind of got away from us, and they won in their last at bat. So a tough way to get the week started, but I think our guys responded well the next day, getting back on a bus, going up to Natchitoches, and resuming that game that had started a week prior to that. It was a little easier to kind of get that one kicked off because we already had a 3-run lead in the 4th inning, and we had runners at first and second with nobody out. So it's not like we had to try to get something going from the get-go. It kind of in a way felt like one of our inter-squad games in the fall where we start each inning with different situations, whether it be runners on base or a certain count on the hitters, a sacrifice bunt and a hit or a sac fly, and you tack on a couple more runs. And that's what we did, and we just kind of kept progressing from there. Thought we got a really, really good outing from Matt Plitt, who had started the game a week prior to that with 3 good innings. Came back and gave us another solid 3 innings on Wednesday, and from there we were able to give guys in the bullpen each an inning to finish up that game. Going back to the Tuesday game, got a really good outing from Cody Smith in that game to give us a chance to win against Nichols State. Going into the weekend against FAU, I thought we did a tremendous job on Friday night, in taking down a really good pitcher in Gomer. He had been still is one of the better pitchers in this league, both the way he pitches and statistically, and Austin did a great job of matching him and doing better than him. I thought our offense did a great job of scoring, continue to score kind of a little bit throughout the game, and we were able to get that one done. Saturday, a tough loss, very tough loss, especially when you have a lead into the 9th, and your closer's on the mound and who doesn't blow many saves at all. But it didn't happen for him that night, didn't happen for us. But we came back Sunday in a big way, and we're able to take care of the series, shorten the game in 7 innings due to the run rule that the Sun Belt has on getaway days. So we're able to shorten the day, and just a total positive day from offensive standpoint, defensive standpoint, and Booty on the mound pitching wise. So another busy week this week with 5 games starting tomorrow, McNeese, then Southeastern here, and we'll get on another plane and head to Miami for the weekend. Every game from this point is a pivotal game, whether it be a midweek game or a conference weekend. We were able to stay right where we were conference-wise, and not losing any ground. Still 2 games out of first place. One of the teams that's ahead of us, we still have to play. 2 of the teams that are ahead of us, we own the tiebreaker over. So kind of sitting in a good position with 4 weekends left to go. Still some time to do some damage and keep crawling our way up to the top. If we can finish out this last month of the season real strong, keep our RPI where it has been. It's kind of been going up a few counts, down a few counts, kind of as the days go and as the games go, depending on wins or losses and who it is that we're playing. But for the most part, it's stayed kind of steady around that, in between 30 and 45 range for the past few weeks, which is really good come Selection Monday time. If we can get enough wins throughout this next month and get that win total up in the 37, 38, hopefully 40, which is a goal of our team, then we think, and finishing in the top 2 or 3 of the league with the league RPI at 4 or 5 right now, we think, it's going to be good for us. Just going off of past history with RPIs and the conference RPIs and the at-large bids, I think we're sitting at a pretty good spot right now. So we've got to continue to push forward. One thing that's been good this last week and these last couple weeks kind of is we're getting a little more consistency from our pitching staff. Not necessarily the 3 guys that start on the weekend, but some guys that throw, from the bullpen, guys that start in the middle of the week, they're starting to show some consistency, not just in having a good game, but being able to repeat that when they come back out after having a good outing. So that's definitely good to see, and going to do nothing but help us in this stretch down the road because, like I said, 5 games again this week. We have 4 games next week. Hopefully it's 5. We're still trying to find an opponent for the game that we lost against UNO to play on May the 1st, which is Wednesday following this Wednesday. So it's going to be, all baseball from here on out, and then you mix in final exams for these kids in a couple of weeks. So it's a busy time for the players. It's a busy time for the coaches as we prepare for the end of the season and trying to keep everyone motivated and enthused throughout this stretch because there's a lot of things that these kids juggle this time of year. So any questions that you guys may have?
Anthony, you told us before the season started you'd like the makeup of this team a whole lot. The chemistry was going to be developed, hopefully in a positive way. And obviously it has. You lose a tough game Saturday night, kind of game where the next day you play and it could go the other way again. What did you guys as a coaching staff tell the team after that game Saturday night? How's that work?
Well, after each game, we kind of huddle up in left field or wherever we may be if we're on the road and just kind of go over a few things that happened during that game and just kind of give goals for tomorrow, whether it's coming off of a win or a loss. What we did Saturday was we told them how proud we were of the fight that they gave, and coming back, getting that run in the bottom of the 8th to go up 4-3 and put ourselves in a position to win the series on Saturday night. So we were very proud of the way they were able to do that. Same thing with Ryan Wilson, giving us a great chance to win throughout the ball game, one of the better starts that he's had in his career here this season. So we just told them that we were proud of him and said that we've got to come out tomorrow, respond, and win the series. That's kind of been the message throughout the season after a loss, is to come back and respond. And for the most part, this group has done that. There's only been, if I can remember, I think twice where, we haven't come back with a win after a loss. Obviously the 3 losses at Middle Tennessee, and then the first 2 games at Western. But, everything else besides that, after the losses, they've come back and they've put forth a great effort, and we've been able to get back on the winning ways. So that's the message that we had for them Saturday. And, they took it to heart. And it was good to see because once we saw the type of starter that came out on Sunday, usually what happens against a guy like that is you either do what we did or you do the complete opposite and you don't get anything off of a guy like that. There's usually no in between. So fortunately for us, the short game was working in the first inning, bottom of the first, got some great bunts down by a couple of players, and then Seth delivered a big lick with bases loaded to kind of get the crowd into it, get the team into it, and then we were able to just tack on from there, and Cody just didn't give him anything on the mound. So it was just a total team effort yesterday and a great way to finish the weekend.
You mentioned 4 out of 5 weeks with 5 games. Are there any concerns of kind of wear and tear with the back end of the season like this?
Maybe a little bit because of how hard we know that these guys go at it each and every day. They go hard at it from the moment we step on the field, from batting practice, all the way until the last out is made of the game. But that's just the nature of the beast, with a kind of a condensed timeline to get 56 games in. Everybody else is fighting the same thing that we're fighting. Our goal throughout this last month, as it has been throughout the whole season, is to make sure we build in enough, off days for these guys and give them time off to rest, recuperate, get their minds off them for a little while, and be able to go do other things. We're mandated to have a day off each and every week. There's been several weeks where we've given the guys 2 days off. A lot of times they'll come to the field and do some hitting in the cages or throw, but nothing organized to where they have to be there at a certain time and go through an hour or two's worth of practice. They can kind of be on their own and just come up whenever they want to, whether it be just hang out in the locker room or go play catch or work off the tees or something like that. So that's really the focus this next month.
He didn't play yesterday, obviously, but in your estimation, how has Gerard gone from a walk-on to almost a 400 hitter and basically an everyday player?
Yeah, that transformation has really been tremendous. I'm glad you asked about Tyler. He did come in as a walk-on, like you say, was always a good hitter, throughout high school, could always really hit, was always inside of the baseball, and that's the key to hitting for a high average, is not just power or can hit the ball out of the park, but being able to stay inside of the baseball so that you can hit multiple pitches, not just a fastball, but a curveball and changeup. He had a good idea of hitting, and he carried that with him his first couple of years here. What he's doing now is his body's stronger, his core is leaner and stronger, so he's starting to put some power in with the ability to hit. And that's why, he's got the home runs that he has, the slugging percentage that he has, the RBIs that he has. That's really what's helped him this year. But it has been really nice to see that transformation. Coach Latif was talking about the girls that he has and how good of citizens they are, not just baseball players, and the whole transformation from the freshman year until they're seniors. And it's the same thing for us, it's especially when you're talking about the kids that come in from high school as opposed to a lot of the kids that we have in the program now that are junior college players. The JUCO guys, sometimes they get it their first year, like a lot of ours have been fortunate to do this season. Sometimes they don't get it to the second year, but a couple of years they're in, they're out, and they move on. But the freshmen, that are with you for a minimum of 3 years, most of them 4, some of them 5 if they redshirt. It's really neat to see the transformation they make because it's such a huge jump from them, from the high school level to the Division I level. But Tyler's a guy that's put in his time, hasn't worried about if he's on scholarship, if he's not on scholarship. That doesn't matter to him. He's just come in and done his job, and because of that, the game has paid him back.
And then Trahan, how, especially at a high pressure position like that, and being a true freshman, how is he able to be as collected as he is?
Well, contrary to the statement that I just made, how it's usually tough for, such a big difference from high school to the Division I level, you do get some cases where guys are able to come in right away and perform, not just, at a high level, but a very high level, the way Blake has. And Blake's just one of those kids that nothing's real fast for him from day number 1. He wasn't nervous at all. He wasn't intimidated about the position that he played. He wasn't intimidated with the coaching staff. He wasn't intimidated with any of the other players on the team. Doesn't take it to, and when I say wasn't intimidated, he doesn't take it to a level of being cocky or knowing that I'm the best. I mean that he just knows that he's good. He's confident in his abilities. He trusts his abilities, and he just goes out there and lets those abilities come out and play for him. Again, we've had very many of those guys, at least that I can remember in my time here, that have been able to do what he's done. And like you said, especially at a premier position at shortstop. But he's been able to do it, on all ends. Defensively, he's got so many clutch hits for us. Offensively, he's a great base runner, and just really can't say enough about what he's meant to our team and holding down that position. There's, unlike a lot of years, this year's team seems like there's fewer and fewer spots and positions on the field that we have to think about each day as far as whose name's going to go next to that position. And that's the great thing about Blake. We never have to worry about that. Same thing with a few other positions on the field. So it makes your job a little easier when you're doing the lineup each and every day, that knowing that 3, 4, 5 guys are going to be out there every day, and not worrying is he going to show up today. You know that they're going to show up.
You mentioned some of the guys, Seth, Blake, Tyler, Dex. It seems like every game there's been someone that has the big game, has the clutch hit. Is that what has made this offensive production just sort of dangerous this year? And they are strong 1 through 9. I know Tony always talks about being so strong 1 through 9, but kind of the proof's in the pudding with people coming up every game.
Yeah, there have been some guys that have had, you know, shown tremendous consistency the entire season. But like you said, guys like Dex, who's on just a real tear right now. Seth has been on a hot streak. Blake was really, really hot at the beginning of the year and kind of went through a little lull, and then now is getting hot again. One thing that we preach to these guys each and every day is to have each other's back and just keep coming, one after the other. No matter what happens in an at-bat, the next guy just keep coming, keep coming, keep coming. And they've truly embraced that theory and that process. You know, a guy will come back from the plate after having failed, and the guy that's on deck going to the plate, when he passes him, you know, you can hear him say, "Hey, don't worry about it, I've got you." Or when we pinch hit for a guy, and we pull a guy from the on-deck circle that's about to hit, you know, you see him go up to the guy that's hitting for him and say, "Hey, you know, go get him. I know you got this," you know, so on and so forth. So each guy is for each other. They've totally embraced the team concept, and what they've really totally embraced is, like I said, just coming one after the other and putting constant pressure on the pitcher. Even if your at bat is a strikeout, if it's a 6, 7, 8 pitch strikeout, it's productive because you've taken something from the pitcher, especially if it's late in the game and he's around, you know, 80, 90 pitch mark where the other coach is thinking about pulling him. He may strike a guy out, but he may take him from 95 to 108 or whatever, you know. So that's the thing that this team has done really, really well. And like you said, you know, some guys being hot when another guy may not be, and just picking up the slack. You know, when you have a lineup of, say, 5 guys that can get it done, and the other 3 can't, when one of those 5 go down cold, you know, sometimes you have a lot of trouble staying consistent. Fortunately for us, we've got a lineup of 9 guys that can get it done. So when 1 or 2 goes through a little bit of struggle, there's still 7 guys that the pitcher has to face. So it's helped us out tremendously.
Also for you guys offensively, Tony, the whole staff really felt that the numbers would be better this year. Home runs. Are you surprised by the amount of power that the team has been able to produce this year?
Yes and no. This is not really a home run park that we play in, as you guys all know that. On the other hand, there's been times where we've kind of made this park look small, you know. But our guys are just so strong, and we work each and every day before batting practice and in early work with extension, getting the bat head out. You know, Coach Deggs, Coach Harville, myself, constantly preaching to the guys, you know, to never be late for a fastball, you know. And if you get your hands in a proper position, if you've got fastball timing, even if they throw off-speed pitches, you're still able to do damage with it. So I think that's one of the things that's helped is being able not just to hit one pitch, but being able to handle, you know, multiple pitches. Not that we've done it 100% successfully throughout the season, but to answer the question, yes and no. I knew we were a lot stronger, and we did see the balls leave the ballpark in the fall and in pre-spring games. You know, to have, I'm not sure what the number is, I think it's around getting close to 40 now. You know, last myself and Coach Deggs checked, I think we're 5th or 6th in the country in home runs. You know, you never really, I don't know if you ever really strive to get those records as much as just being a good offense that can score runs, get on base, have a good on-base percentage and a good slugging percentage as much as number of home runs. But, you know, home runs are, everybody loves to watch home runs, and it can break a game open. No bigger example of that than what happened yesterday. You know, anytime you can get a grand slam in the first inning, it just sets the tone for the whole day.
Just talk a little bit about McNeese and then maybe Southeastern as well, as you guys play those 2 midweek games.
Well, each and every game is as important for us for the rest of the way as it has been throughout the entire season. You know, you don't have a chance to win 35 or 40 games without winning those midweek games and staying focused each and every week. This would be our first chance of going to Lake Charles this year, and seeing McNeese, always a tough park to play in. The wind is usually howling out to left, so it's going to be a hitter's park for both teams. Hopefully that plays into our advantage a little bit. But we've got to get a good start on the mound, by Cody again, and however far he can take us, have the bullpen come in and lock it down from there, and we've got to play good defense and work as an offense and be productive offensively. Same thing Wednesday night, Southeastern's going to come in here. We know what type of team they have, always scrappy, play to the end, do a lot of things on the bases, a lot of small ball moving runners and stuff like that. So just a game that you really got to lock down on defensively. Games that we look forward to because, the weekends is conference, and that's what means a lot. But again, these midweek games are what can get you to 35 and 40 and what can either get you or not get you in that large bid also if you don't win the conference tournament. So they're huge games. We preach that to the guys each and every time we have one of these midweek games and just tell them it's the biggest game on the schedule. Today's the biggest game on the schedule because it truly is. Because if you dump those games, then it's no good for you. I do know that.
Any other questions for the back? Good.
Thank you very much.
Let's go.